like to see Marquette do well. I'm interested in them. I'm more of a box score fan for Marquette, whereas I'll watch Wisconsin games. Is Cam Jones as likable as John Tonje this year?
I think so. I think Cam Jones had some struggles, but he is definitely their star. He is their machine that makes it go. When he was struggling earlier in the season, the offense struggled mightily with them. John Tonje sort of came onto the map and put up those big gaudy numbers that made him instantly rocket up the board of people are interested in. But Cam Jones has been around. He's built a standing with the fan base. I mean, he's certainly no Dwayne Wade or anything of those matters, but he's a fan favorite by far. I bet if you go to games at Marquette, you're going to see more Cam Jones jerseys than anything there.
Oh, absolutely. And I don't know. There's not a lot of. I feel like you're going to get more quarter zips than anything if you're walking around UW's, the Kohl Center.
What's wrong with a quarter zip?
I love a quarter zip. Don't get me wrong. I wear one almost every day, despite my janky appearance on the ESPN Madison or Milwaukee YouTube stream, where you can watch us live right now.
I feel like you're bashing the Q-zip crowd.
You did.
I'm saying that is more common. Like, we're a quarter zip community. All right.
Maybe you should sell some more jerseys, and that's why the NIL funds are struggling out there. You know what I mean?
Oh,
come on, sell a couple of jerseys, huh?
I feel like if we are to make the quarter zip joke about Marquette, we got to do like sweater vests for Wisconsin.
Totally. I cannot wait. My wife and I are season ticket holders for Marquette, and I cannot wait until I'm 65 years old so I can rock the canary yellow Marquette V-neck sweater.
That's a hell of a look. All right, 844-770-3776 is your way into the show. The Carbless Talking text line. List is more. That is how Alex Strofe, Mr. Irrelevant, is scheduled to appear later today. He said around 11:15, or I'll crash when I feel it's appropriate. So that's really, on brand for Alex Strofe.
I gotta say here, jump in quick. He does not on our Saturday tip-off have when he on his whim rights. So either he's joining when he's scheduled or he's not joining at all. I just want to put that out there.
All right, Josh Dimaggio making the rules. I'm just here to get us in and out of break. Josh, you are obviously running the show. Our managers are the ones who are keeping us on the air.
Someone's got to make some rules around here.
Yeah. Joshy, I want to actually talk a little bit about that, because it is absolutely hilarious that we are, kind of the bench squad, right? That's been my thought. You are on air every day with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. I'm on air with Coach Barry Alvarez on Monday nights for the football season, now a little bit more infrequently, filling in on Jim, Matt, and Molly from 4 to 6 on ESPN Madison when I can. But we have like the two biggest, most important people on the business side of things, I guess, running our show. It feels like undercover boss to me.
It does to a degree. Now, Jesse, I feel like
has no authority.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm glad you said it. Jesse definitely makes the calls for you guys. Around here in Milwaukee, we kind of treat him as if he is still just the Wilde Intelligence producer that likes to take a beating. I shouldn't say like that. We like to treat like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm not nervous. Brian has listened to everything I've done for the past 2 years. Jesse has listened to probably most of it. So this is nothing new to me. I'm not in uncomfortable territory. It is the first time I've looked up and seen him, but it's only the second time I think I've looked up and seen you across from me. So we're in uncharted territory here, but it's going to be fun. I believe in myself not to do anything to get us in trouble. I can't say the same for anyone else on the program, but I feel good about that.
That's good. And I haven't gotten in trouble too often, have I, Jesse?
No.
I've created a bit of an essence about myself as misrepresenting specifically the Jim, Matt, and Molly crew.
You are the great misrepresenter. That's a fair assessment of yourself.
Again, yeah. I don't think it's fair. I think that is lunacy. I am verbatim quoting people.
I don't want to throw you under the bus, but 3 minutes ago you did say Brian D hosts a Marquette postgame show, and he doesn't really do that. So
that's fair.
Kind of the great misrepresenter living on brand here.
Great fill-in for our friend Gabe Neitzel when he was in Vegas golfing.
To be fair, he doesn't do the postgame show either.
That's true. He does pregame and half.
Brian, did you do the halftime show?
Not last night. I filled in for Gabe on Thursday when Marquette stormed back to beat Xavier for pregame and halftime. but Gabe was back in his chair. I actually had fans. Marquette and Learfield sold a partnership where all season long their road pregame shows were at various Buffalo Wild Wings locations around the area. So I was out at B-Dubs in West Allis on Thursday afternoon at 1 o'clock. Nowhere else I would rather be. And I had fans as Marquette stormed back saying, dude, we need you back here tomorrow night. We don't trust Gabe anymore. So if we could blame a lot of people for Marquette's loss last night. You could blame cold three-point shooting. You could blame the officials. You could blame St. John's defense. I'm choosing to blame Gabe Neitzel.
All right. I really like that. Josh, you are the president of the pie chart of blame from the Scalzo and Brust days. Do you have a percentage that you'd like to assign to Gabe Neitzel?
Gabe's my guy. I was actually going to ask him to go golfing with me later, so I'm going to give him 5% and keep it on the lower end. I'm actually going to give Brian D 20% for not showing up and supporting like the fans asked him to. They called in their shot, and then he wasn't there.
That's right. I did not make the trip down to Oak Creek to the Buffalo Wild Wings location down there. I watched on my couch last night and just swore at the TV for about 2 hours. It was tough.
So I didn't actually watch the Marquette game, right? I started with a little bit of box score watching. I think I caught some highlights early on, and then I switched over and, throughout the night, I dedicated my time to the Duke-UNC rivalry. My girlfriend grew up 5 minutes from Cameron Indoor. It was a good game. It's always good. There's no Cooper Flag, so let's see how our boy Con Knippel can really own an offense. He's a Wisconsin native. I've been rooting for him all year. He did pretty well, and it came down to what made me feel. I'm like, it is just the perfect appetizer for March Madness, right? Like, we get to watch a game between two absolute rivals come down as one of them is fighting for their life in the tournament because they might still be a team out from the outside watching in. They might be an NIT late entry here. And they had to lose on a made free throw attempt because of a lane violation. And that's the kind of anarchy that makes this so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, right now we are watching pretty much teams that are all very good. Right now, Joe Lunardi has UNC as the first team out. The lane violation to me, and it's been being talked about everywhere today, I do think it was a line violation when you get the zoomed in video. Now, I understand everybody, we don't want to see games decided by that.
Are you kidding me? As long as it's not Wisconsin, of course I do. It's March Madness.
Well, right. As an objective observer and just somebody enjoying it, there are a lot of people that want to do the just let the kids play, let them figure it out on the court. But basketball is in one of those spots where refs highly can dictate it. I think if you watch it back, which you've seen it if you've been on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok today, you've seen that clip. If you watched ESPN SportsCenter at all, it's been everywhere you've seen. I think it was the right call. I think you can make a case for that call being called there, but this is what happens. Crazy things every single year, starting in the conference tournament time, take over, take hold, and dictate the outcomes of games. We see every single year some unknown from some small school, some unknown school make a run that makes this all worthwhile, makes it worth all the people who are going to be taking off of work on Thursday or Friday, all the people who said, honey, Saturday, we'll clear the schedule. Sunday, clear the schedule next week. I'm not going to be doing anything but watching college hoops. And this time of the year, small things like a lane violation late in the game are going to be the difference. Now, would you rather see a 3-point heave or a late half-court shot be the dictator? Absolutely. But there are rules, and the refs are a part of the game of basketball as much as we would not like them to be. They are also a necessary part. Shout out Jesse Nelson, one of the most famous refs in Wisconsin altogether. Umpire, I should say.
We do like the rules around here.
Yeah,
Great advocate of the rules. I appreciate you having this take, Joshy.
I was going to say, I'm really curious what you have to say, Jesse, as, the hall monitor. Was the lane violation happened? Clear as day it happened. I don't know what you're talking about, the zoomed in, it happened. It was obvious. Were you happy that this is how the game ended?
Obviously, you don't want a game to end that way, but you have to call it. The call has to be the same in the first half as it would be in the final seconds, no matter what. That's the rule of officiating. So you need to take time and circumstance all into consideration. No, that's not the case. The rules are the rules. You enforce them as you need to. And so when you what?
All right,
that's what you do. That's how you play the game.
Guys. All of us watch a lot of basketball all season long. NBA, college, preps. Madison has preps coming up Thursday and Friday. That happens on every
It's like holding.
free throw. Every free throw, and it's never called. And you're going to have the onions, shout out Bill Raftery, to make that call in that moment in a Duke UNC game with a bubble NCAA tournament bid online. That was insane.
To me, what I think caused the call was his strict jump back, and I gave pretty much the same take as Jesse had there. But I did it in a much less
for some reason
in a much less dorky way. I would have not been upset had it not been called, but it is the rules, and Brian D is the voice of the people I've seen everywhere saying, don't let things like that dictate the game. Don't have the referees dictate it. It is a great point. That happened previously in that game probably a dozen times. That stuff happens all the time. I'm going to give a little bit of generosity to the officials there. That was odd looking. I don't know if I've ever seen somebody step in with their toes and then jump out like that, but that makes it all good. This is my same take I have for the NFL. The NFL isn't that concerned about correcting their officiating because it creates great conversation. The ACC college basketball is having a good day because the enemy today isn't one of the opponents, isn't one of the coaches, it's the referees. So every fan can have an opinion. Every Joe Blow can get on the radio this morning and talk about was it the right call or was it not, and should that determine such a monumental game. When you look at the context of it, UNC being the first one out and having it happen that way.
Oh my gosh. And
that's a tough pill to swallow.
They
now,
were
if
down
that was
so much and they came back from everything against the number one team in the country with their season on the line. Oh gosh, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I have a hard time being, don't let that determine the call. I think it was weird. When I watched it again and again and again, it was like, I don't know what happened there. I think if he just keeps that foot in there, nothing happens. It was a peculiar circumstance that caused it to determine the game. And you can argue, did that actually determine the outcome of the game? You could argue also don't go down massively and have to do a comeback. Try and keep it a little closer, and maybe you'd be in a better spot to win that game. So there's many layers to this.
I mean, it was a great coaching job. They completely shifted their entire strategy for the second half. They were making Duke lob the ball across the entire court again and again. So they earned the right to be back in that game for sure. But to turn around and have it all dictated by this one, it looked like he was trying to jump in to get somebody else to do a lane violation. And I agree. It looked weird. It was weird. It was maybe the most noticeable lane violation I can think of recently. So yes, you have to call it. And I absolutely love that the game ended like that. I burst out laughing. The reason we watch sports is to have a good time, and that's a good time. All right, I understand that it didn't come down to...
You're laughing at this dude while he's crying on the bench costing his team an NCAA tournament berth? You're evil.
A little bit. Well, listen, UNC is also kind of evil. They went out and hired Darth Vader to be their football coach, all right? They're not a likable team right now.
You're laughing at this kid because Belichick got hired at UNC. That's your thought process in the middle of this last night?
I hate to say it. I'm kind of on Jesse's side here.
No. Yes. Well, also, my girlfriend,
rare moment.
Remember, girlfriend, diehard Duke fan. I am going to be with her and for her and support her in that in every way, shape, and form. And that means laughing at the misery. I laughed my butt off when the Packers blocked the field goal against the Bears. That was a moral loss to me, right? The Packers should have dominated that game earlier in the season, and it comes down to a blocked kick. Are you kidding me? All right. 844-770-3776 is the Carbless Talk and Text line. That's your way into the show. Ben in Madison agrees with you, Joshy. You have to make that call. I agree with Joshy. It was so blatant. You have to call it. And again, I think that's kind of how we all feel. We just all feel a little differently about that reality. Me, maybe a little bit mean. But We'll continue this conversation, and unlike Hammer and Emmett, we're going to avoid Aaron Rodgers talk. That's how they teased this hour coming up, and we came in and saved you. We don't need to talk more about Aaron Rodgers quite yet.
I mean, we could.
This is Saturday Tip-Off on ESPN
Always
Wisconsin.
talk Rodgers.
This is Saturday Tip-Off on ESPN Wisconsin and Wisconsin On Demand.
The GRB Academy is baseball for the serious player. GRB Academy wants to be part of your plan to reach your potential. Utilize GRB Academy's 52,000 square foot facility, 14 batting cages, and 6,000 square foot weight room. Personal lessons at the GRB Baseball Academy are available year-round. With over 300 college players and over 150 Division I players, GRB has consistently led the way in the Midwest for college recruitment and player development. Visit their website, grbacademy.com, for more information. That's grbacademy.com. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player.
With the next pick in the big draft, Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Dane County selects you. As we count down to the draft in Green Bay, Big Brothers and Big Sisters is also counting on you to help meet the growing demand of mentorship in our community. Become a role model, a motivator, a supporter, a positive influence. Empower the young people in our community to create a brighter future for all. Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Dane County presents the Big Draft in partnership with the NFL Inspire Change. Learn how to get involved at bbbsmadison.org.
You're only minutes away from a better buying experience at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb. Jim Rutledge here. What is a better buying experience? Well, that's the thing. You get to define it. It is the experience that is customized to you. What experience do you want at a car dealership? They can be your trusted friend or your trusted expert. So if you're in the market for a new or new-to-you Silverado, Colorado, Blazer, Trailblazer, remember, you're only minutes away from a better buying experience. And that's at Simden Chevy in Mount Horeb.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Unity Point Health Meritor is proud to be ESPN Madison's Mental Health Month sponsor this March. Explore resources at unitypoint.org/Madison. With the right support, every child and teen can find a path to better mental health.
At Gruber Law Offices, we take great pride in helping those who have trusted us after a serious accident. Our team has the knowledge, resources, and experience to get you the results you deserve. Don't wait to get the help you need. Make the right call. Call Gruber Law Offices today. Proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 provides game recaps for every game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Join the Madison Area Sports Commission live and in person for a Good Morning Sports event featuring Love Madison Volleyball. On March 31st, meet an all-star lineup of Love Madison athletes and hear about the first season of pro volleyball in Madison. Registration donations benefit the MASC Youth Grant to get kids into sports. Register online at visitmadison.com/GMS. This event is sponsored by American Family Insurance and Oak Bank, supported by ESPN Madison, and produced by the Madison Area Sports Commission.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
We're on the Packers.
I just don't feel like Goody hits the home runs that merit holding on to draft picks like they're absolute gold. Because his first-round draft pick isn't gold.
Nobody covers the green and gold like 100.5 ESPN.
ESPN Wisconsin tip-off on Saturday rolls on. I'm Alex Gravatt Live from the ESPN Madison Everlight Solar Studios, Josh Dimaggio and the one called That's All Gruber Law Office Studios in Milwaukee. 844-770-3776 is the Carbless Talking text line. Liz is more, and that is your way into the show. Cooper Kupp, last night, signs with the Seattle Seahawks in a bit of a news dump Friday evening, as we've come to call it. Joshy, you were pretty excited to see your guy, Goody, not sign an old veteran wide receiver. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so my take with the Cooper Kupp stuff, as soon as I think it's happened around the Super Bowl, he put out where he was able to seek a trade. His contract was a contract number that nobody was going to be interested in or involved with. So when that became obvious, to me, it seemed like he was going to be a free agent and open to the market. The reason I was anti-Cooper Kupp is, one, a guy with that level of production and that level of usage who's become more and more injured, who his team who's been loyal to him and happy to pay him when he was contributing to their team, when he gets released and they move to an even older guy in Davante Adams, to me that's a signal, big blinking lights. There's issues here. There's probably issues that are going to keep happening. The reason I also didn't like him strategically from what the Packers need is he does fit the Packers need help on third down and third down conversions. What he doesn't help is anything vertical, and he's a redundant talent to Jayden Reed. Both Jayden Reed and Cooper Kupp succeed the best when playing in the slot, and I think less snaps for Jayden Reed at that slot position would stunt his growth and stunt his effectiveness week in and week out. I think Jayden Reed is the one guy, despite his struggles at the second half of the season last year and some of the games where it seemed like he had zero to little impact in them, I think he's the most reliable one the Packers are going to have on their roster at this point. The guy who you think you can force the ball to, you can get manufactured touches for, and replacing them with an often injured, a slower Cooper Kupp, to me, felt like a bad strategic move. To me, it didn't make sense to stunt the growth or put competition in the room for Jayden Reed. You can make a case for the veteran could help him and his growth. I think that is what it is. Sure, I don't have an argument to get that, but Cooper Kupp, the price he cost, and what it would mean to the offense, I didn't think it was a good fit and a smart fit for the Packers in 2025.
Is Jayden Reed the wide receiver one for the Green Bay Packers right now?
Yes, and I'm not saying that with excitement. I'm saying that with necessity. He is shown to be the most consistent, the most effective, and probably the best option. He has a lot of growth to do. The guy can't beat man coverage. Teams aren't strategically, defenses aren't worried about Jayden Reed when it comes to man coverage. They just line it up and say, this guy's probably not going to beat us. He was one of the least effective in the league last year, and Deebo Samuel has also the same issues. They are a similar body type. People don't think of them the same, but if you look at their size and their abilities, they are very, very similar. The good thing is a good head coach can manufacture those touches and get them in a spot where it is beneficial. The reason Brandon Ayuk and Deebo work together is there was another main option that was going to stretch the field, take him out of there. George Kittle also serves as a supplement to him. So there are pieces here that make sense where you can say Goody is trying to create an offense, much like the one we saw with the San Francisco 49ers. Jayden Reed needs help, though, he's not a Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, you name a Davante Adams. He's not one of those guys. He needs supplemental pieces to be as effective as possible. And I still don't think, unless Dontavian Wicks learns how to catch the ball consistently, unless that happens, I still think the Packers are short of a guy that is really going to help Jayden Reed be successful. That's the reason why the DK Metcalf trade made sense to me. He is an instant issue when it comes to strategic and deep concerns. So if they are going to throw the ball deep, that is going to open up more of the underneath stuff, more of the stuff in the slot.
And while we were show prepping, you and I talked about this. MVS is out there, and he just keeps making more and more money. He's never really been that successful, but he is a big, fast guy that everyone has to be aware of and worry about. And that's what Christian Watson's supposed to be. Of course, he's coming off of an ACL injury. I look at Jayden Reed, and I see what you see. It's kind of similar to what we have in Jordan Love, where there is excitement. There is moments of absolute brilliance, and we know that physically he is capable of doing it all. But to end the season last year, Jayden Reed had, starting in, let's go the first week of November, 6 targets, 2 targets, 3 targets, 6 targets, 1 target, 6 targets, 4 targets, 4 targets, 2 targets. Those are not the numbers. He ended the season with 75 targets. That is not a wide receiver one. And it's partially because he can't do anything against man coverage. Also, there have been moments where the game plan just feels to be going away from him, and that is a Matt LaFleur issue. He needs to look at that and say, okay, we've got a guy who can do a lot with the ball in his hand and can get open against zone and scheme him open, scheme plays for him. And we've seen him be immensely successful, specifically in our losses, when he does that, when they decide, okay, we're going to just cut Jayden Reed loose. Why they're not doing that, I'm not entirely sure. I'm sure that they have inside knowledge that I do not have. Having a guy who is a redundancy, sure, but like Cooper Kupp, who won an Offensive Player of the Year award, who is excellent, who has had a 2,000-yard season, I look at this guy and I say, okay, maybe he's not the best player for the Packers because we cover up another need, much like we did with the guard situation bringing in Banks, right? Like, we spent a ton of money to go get a guard, and now we have a first-round pick who it's like, okay, are we going to move him to center? Are we going to move him to tackle? I'm a little confused in terms of what that move was about. Now we have a lot of interior offensive linemen, which is not a bad problem. But you have a guy who you could count on third down, and at this point, I feel like the regular season for the Green Bay Packers hardly matters. It's odd, like Jim Rutledge maybe has gotten to me, right? Jim Rutledge of Jim, Matt, and Molly all of the time is saying, you're title town, all right? The regular season doesn't matter. You are not competing with the Bears. You are competing with the best. And I tend to agree. I want to go out there and win a championship. I love the regular season success. It is fun to go and know that on any given Sunday, my team has a 75% chance of winning. But I do tend to agree with him. 844-770-3776. That's a Carbless talking text line. List is more. Josh, I think that Cooper Kupp would have been a great decision to bring in because you don't need him to be there every snap. You can still feed Jayden Reed and give him plenty of looks, but then when push comes to shove and you need a wide receiver one, specifically in the playoffs to catch a third down pass, you have your guy.
I'm glad you went to the title town thing, and every Packers fan's expectation is Super Bowl, and they are building towards one. The thing is, Cooper Kupp, to me, unequivocally, undoubtedly, does not take them to a Super Bowl contender. I would argue you could make a case for DK Metcalf. I would probably disagree with it at the end of the day. Devontae Adams, most certainly.
You think we're Devontae Adams away from Super Bowl contention?
I think that would greatly improve things. I also think you have a need at defensive edge, at the edge there. I do expect there to be some improvement. I mean, LVN was about as bad as any player was that was drafted in the first round. So you can only really go up from there, and I think Rashawn Gary had a disappointing year, which is going to be interesting to see if he makes improvement. The Packers are short on superstars. That is the biggest issue. I don't think Cooper Kupp would come in and be a superstar. I think he would be closer to a role player. I think he would be equivalent to what Randall Cobb was when he had his second tour with the Packers. He was reliable on third downs. He did make a couple good plays, but he is not the difference between a Super Bowl win and not. I don't think he's the difference between a playoff win or not. I think what the Packers need is a guy who is going to be a top-of-the-line starter, a dog on offense, a guy who's going to make defensive coordinators fear the opposing offense, fear Jordan Love, and fear what they can do in terms of big explosive plays and maintaining long, sustained drives that can strangle it out. I think the Packers have that in terms of the rushing offense. That offense, that run game is as good as any in the NFL. Obviously, Saquon Barkley is a talent that makes the Eagles that way. But the Packers, in terms of sustaining drives, churning out yards, and having big ones pop and keeping drives going, that is a sustainable place of success. The passing game is lacking a consistent target. You could make a case that Tucker Kraft is going to be the Packers' pass catcher one. I don't
like
know
that, but I don't.
Correct. I would like to have more help. I would like to have more talent. I'm pretty much out on Romeo Doubs. I think he can be somewhat of a talent, but I don't think he's going to. I think this is his last year in Green Bay. And I think if the Packers were interested in the DK Metcalf more than we are led to believe, I think Romeo Doubs was a big part of that. I think he needs a change of scenery, and I think the Packers are pretty much done with him. So to me, it's down to Dontavian Wicks and Jaden Reed. I don't expect any of them to be in the conversation for top 15 wide receiver in 2025. I think they need a guy that is going to make a difference. Now, could Jaden Higgins in the draft come in and instantly become that guy? Could it be Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State? Could it be Luther Burden? There's a bunch of options out there. I don't know if the Packers break their streak of non-first round wide receivers, but I would bet they are going to be invested early in that market. And if you look at free agency, there wasn't that guy out there. Devontae Adams was released. He became an option. The Packers didn't even call, didn't have interest. So that's telling us they're not interested in guys over the age of 30 seeking third, fourth contracts. That's just not the case for them. They're not interested. I can disagree with that. I think it was a mistake, but you have to sort of look at this is the framework we have to operate inside of. And right now the Packers don't view those guys as what's going to take them over the top and make them Super Bowl contenders.
All right, I do disagree with you specifically on the Romeo Doubs bit. I do think the Packers need to get somebody better, and I hope, I would be really excited if they went out and said, you know what, first round, that's what we're going to do. I still imagine that they're going to go defensive line in the first line. On the ESPN Milwaukee YouTube stream comment section, we have a dweller, Jesse Nelson. Joe S. Is Alex Gravatt the long-haired juggler from the reverse cam on Wilde and Tausch yesterday? Yes, I am. I was juggling in the background as we were playing Battleship against Google in the building across from us.
What?
We've set up. We beat them in tic-tac-toe. So first off, shout out to our interns. Our interns and part-timers kicked Google's butt in tic-tac-toe.
What do you mean you were playing against Google?
How did you beat Google?
Google is across the street. There's a Google office. And
you guys using Windows?
Yeah, and so we've got a whiteboard up there, and we're just guessing random letters and numbers. Right now, their current guess is F5. E5. We missed on F6. So, we've got a lot going on in the office right now.
What in the world?
You guys, do you each have Battleship boards in front of you?
No, I have taken the don't tell my manager Alex also, but I spent.
I'm right here.
No, my sales manager. You don't manage me from 9 to 5, Jesse. You manage me on weekends and nights. All right, I wrote down.
What do you think right now is
A through J, and then 1 through 10, and I drew in where the battleships should be. We can put this on Twitter, I guess, if we want, but. And then we are guessing our shots above it. So we don't have an actual Battleship board. Google wanted to play Battleship, which feels like a weird choice.
You guys, how were you guys able to communicate this across the street?
It's just a window.
This is remarkable.
Do you guys have any other work to do in Madison?
I was going to ask.
Hey, we're doing just fine.
Is
all
there
right?
a lot going on these days? What do you mean?
We've got a new GM, and things got loosened up a little bit since Tommy left. 844-770-3776.
Blame the GM for his
Well, we're blaming Goody for our situation. We've got a new game for you. That we're not just coming up with Battleship. We're coming up with new games. We got one called Second Take coming up next. It is ESPN Wisconsin Tip-Off.
This is Saturday Tip-Off on ESPN Wisconsin and Wisconsin On Demand.
What are you doing out there?
Come on!
I saw you at the game the other night. Yeah, you. Up there getting mad, acting like we're all out there making $1 million a game. Well, let me be real with you. This isn't the pros. It's school sports, and it's a game, our game. So please, let us play.
School sports fans remember, when you cheer for your team, make noise for the right reasons. This message presented by the NFHS and the NIAAA.
And all student athletes in Wisconsin.
It's all about the green and gold, and nonsense on Kyle, Brust, and Nordman.
Those aren't human rips, but they could be human rips. Is somebody going through my trash? Do I have a woodpecker and a raccoon problem? Do you need to get rid of raccoons?
You got a zoo, animal house. That's what you got. Woodpeckers, dogs, raccoons.
Kyle, Brust, and Nordman. Presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL. Weekdays from 2 till 4 on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how to save money and save the planet. It's simple. Ditch your energy bill and make the switch over to Everlight Solar. While electricity prices keep rising, Everlight Solar will give you the chance to take ownership of your power while also reducing your carbon footprint. As a local company based out of Madison, they'll be there with you every step of the way as you make the switch to solar. To learn more about how you can save money and save the planet, go to everlightsolar.com.
The madness starts at Metro Kia Madison this month. Drive away in a 2025 Kia Sportage with financing as low as 1.9% for 60 months. $17.48 cost per thousand borrowed. Or upgrade to the luxurious Kia K4 with rates as low as 2.9% for 48 months. $22.09 cost per thousand. With 156 new vehicles available, enjoy 2 years of no charge maintenance on new vehicles purchased and 90 days deferred payments with approved credit. Hurry, these offers end March 31st.
Join the Madison Area Sports Commission live and in person for a Good Morning Sports event featuring Love Madison Volleyball. On March 31st, meet an all-star lineup of Love Madison athletes and hear about the first season of pro volleyball in Madison. Registration donations benefit the MASC Youth Grant to get kids into sports. Register online at visitmadison.com/GMS. This event is sponsored by American Family Insurance and Oak Bank, supported by ESPN Madison, and produced by the Madison Area Sports Commission.
The madness is right around the corner, and that means the time for proving your hoops knowledge is too. It's the ESPN Wisconsin Bracket Challenge, presented by Cousin Subs. Fill out a bracket, earn the most points at the end of the tourney, and get a $1,000 gift card to Cousin Subs. One winning bracket, $1,000 to Cousin Subs. When the teams are all selected, you can fill out your bracket on ESPN.com or the ESPN Tournament Challenge app. It's the ESPN Wisconsin Bracket Challenge, presented by Cousin Subs. They believe in better.
Drum roll, please!
Carbless is here with refreshing new flavors. Introducing their Tropical Bliss Variety Pack. Let the summertime flavors of blood orange, watermelon, raspberry, and grapefruit whisk you away from the winter blues. New flavors, same great Carbless perks. Every handcrafted cocktail still has 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and just 100 calories. Find the Tropical Bliss Variety Pack in store wherever Carbless is sold and enjoy your winter passport to paradise. Grab a pack today and discover why less is more with Carbless.
Professional volleyball is in full swing from here in Madison. Don't miss a second of the action. Cheer on Love Madison Volleyball as they make history with some of the best players in the world. Olympic medalists, NCAA All-Americans, and one of the most talented rookie classes ever. This is volleyball at its highest level. Experience the excitement yourself. Get your tickets today at lovb.com. Volleyball is the next major league.
Brewers baseball is in the air.
It's back, and it is up, and it is gone. A walk-off homer for Vinny Capra.
Spring back into the baseball season on 100.5 ESPN, Madison's new home of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Time for me to fly. Oh, I got to set myself free. Time for me to fly. That's just how it's got to be.
Alrighty, I have pulled up our whiteboard. Let's see, I can move it over here. As you can see, this is how we are communicating if you are on YouTube. With our Google counterparts across the street, we are playing Battleship, and they have missed, so we guessed a 3. They missed on F5 was their guess. So, Josh Dimaggio, you can see what we got going on over here. This is what happens in the ESPN Madison office, and this is why we win so many internal awards.
That looks like a sign from the UCLA fan section yesterday. Miss a 3, right?
Nice.
Shout out K. Adams.
Dude, they went, what was it, 18 threes? John Tonje was on fire. That was so much fun to watch.
Tied a Big Ten tournament record.
It was awesome. It makes it more embarrassing that earlier in the season, the Badgers lost to a hot Marquette team for me. Like, that's the only real basketball that I'm like invested in, the basketball not tournament, rivalry for Wisconsin. I also really don't like Purdue, but the Minnesota Gophers, whatever. That's kind of where I stand. Josh, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, that game is fun. Obviously, I have grown up as a Badgers fan primarily. It's fun because you have so many Marquette fans, especially here at the home of Marquette, where you can listen to Tony Smith and Homer do the games. It is fun to get after those people. Some people are a little more invested, take it a little more personally. I just like watching for that one day during the game, rooting against Marquette, and then for the most part, it's like, hey, go have fun out there. Go do well. I'm not going to be angry if Marquette achieves. That's where I stand on it.
Brian T., who's running the show for us in Milwaukee, how do you feel about that?
I hate Wisconsin. I mean, so I would like to loop Jesse Nelson in here. Jesse's known me for, 11 years now, and I have never wavered from this stance. I want Marquette to beat Wisconsin in everything, but
Football
beyond
included?
that, I'm Sparty on today, football included. If Wisconsin's playing East Carolina on September 4th, I want East Carolina to win. Go Pirates, baby. I want Wisconsin to lose in checkers. I want Wisconsin to lose, like, if the students are walking around on the isthmus, I want them to trip and knock their teeth out. That's really how I feel about the University of Wisconsin.
That's so mean. Also, it's Miami, Ohio for the season opener, Brian. Come on, a little respect,
the Red Hawks,
please.
baby.
Brian has always been a very anti-Wisconsin Badgers fan. I think sometimes he enjoys rooting against Wisconsin a lot more than he enjoys rooting for Marquette.
To my credit, speak up right now.
To my credit.
My credit, speak up right now if you went to the University of Wisconsin-Madison on the panel here.
Hello.
Okay, that's 1 out of 3.
Yeah,
right?
baby.
Yeah.
So I think that's the one person that gets to chirp a little bit, and I feel that responsibility from the Marquette perspective here as well.
And that's why I don't spend time chirping. I grew up because my grandparents, my grandpa, big Badgers fan. But when it comes to actual chirping, I don't know if I've ever said anything negative to Brian about Marquette.
No. And the biggest weirdos in the group, like I love one of our executive producers here at ESPN Milwaukee, Tony Cartagena, huge Badger fan, Badger alum, loves the Badgers, and we go back and forth more than anybody, and I love that because that's what makes sports special. We talked about Duke UNC last night. Like that's the beauty of watching sports is you get to hate each other in this forum that is kind of safe.
Rivalries make it.
Totally. The weirdos are the ones that are like, oh, I just want both schools to have success. Yay!
Strofe.
Terrible.
But
Alex
I
Strofe.
fall into that Strofe thing. For the illustrious high school newspaper out of Plymouth, Wisconsin, Highlights, I was the sports editor, the co-sports editor, and I wrote stories about both Wisconsin and Marquette, and I remember very distinctly writing a 3-header. Wisconsin, Marquette, and UW Green Bay. I was all in on all 3. I loved it. They don't have to play each other that often, and I wanted all 3 to do well. So with my very impressive press credentials, I was locked in, dialed in, and rooting for all 3. I wonder if this isn't kind of that, and to peel the curtain back a little, Brian, you come from Buffalo, New York, right?
By way of Cleveland and Florida as well, yes.
Okay.
But I did not grow up in the state of Wisconsin. This is my adopted home. I've been here 15 years.
Cleveland makes so much sense because you have this, it's us versus everyone to you that, Cleveland for sure has. And I think Buffalo has in this essence that, New York State is over there, right? Or New York City is over there, and you are part of the state, but you are, do you align with New York City at all?
No.
Exactly.
No, not at all. I mean, people don't know this, and Joshy knows this because he lived in New York City. New York City is so disconnected from the rest of New York State. Buffalo is 7 hours from New York City.
Mm-hmm.
It couldn't be further away, right? The rest of New York State is very much Midwest, but I do hear what you're thinking.
Midwest?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, big
Not
time.
Rust Belt.
Upstate and Western New York, yes.
My family lives in an hour and 45 minutes, maybe 2 hours, depending on traffic from the city. And they have people from the city come up for this weird resort. It's very much an Aaron Rodgers thing, right? My aunt is a, what is it? She is an animal telepathic.
What? An animal medium?
Yes, she's an animal medium. She talks to animals no matter where they are. She just needs a picture of the animal and where the animal physically is, and she can tell you why the animal's upset, what it's doing, what it is. Like I am
Is that a lucrative career?
My uncle does well.
What does this have to do with the Midwest?
But that's what I'm saying. You don't get that stuff in the Midwest.
It's a little.
So it's this Aaron Rodgers-esque, right? Like Aaron Rodgers is a Green Bay Packer. He's Midwest-ish, but he's not Midwest at all. And I don't think I'm going to claim Buffalo in the Midwest. That is Rust Belt Pittsburgh.
Let me try to reel it in here because I get what you're getting at, G.
I don't.
It's Woodstock.
I am fiercely loyal to the people that have supported me along the way. And if you cross me in any way, it's over with. And Wisconsin crosses Marquette all the time, so it's over with, right? Like I literally last night, one of my close friends texted in a group chat that Marquette losing was neat, and I told him to blank off, right? And I'm now apologizing in group chats this morning for crossing the line with one of my close friends for crossing a line in the group chat, in my opinion. So that's that, but that's sports, man. That's what fandom is. And I think we're going to get a lot of that if Aaron Rodgers goes to Minnesota this year, right?
Gosh.
It'll be a lot of that stuff. So I don't apologize for a second for feeling the way that I feel about Marquette.
So you're rooting for Michigan State today, Brian.
Sparty on, baby. Go green.
It's messed up.
The Badgers, 2.5-point underdogs in the Big Ten
I do have to come clean. I did bet against Marquette yesterday.
Ow!
What do your aunt's animals have to say about the Big Ten semifinal today?
I will text her and see what the horse from Tuscaloosa
You got
has
a lizard
to say.
with a prognostication out in upstate New York?
It's the lizard is just worried because the sun lamp got moved. All right, that's really the issue here. Well, I am sorry, right? But Brian D has to apologize to his group chats. I need to apologize to you. We teased the game's second take, which we invented this week, and we have to move it to next segment. So coming up next at Second Take, this is Saturday Tip-Off across ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Saturday Tip-Off on ESPN Wisconsin and Wisconsin On Demand.
Greg Scalzi here for Total Athlete Performance. They're here to provide elite performance training for serious athletes in the Madison area. And there's a new Verona TAP facility open inside of the Verona Athletic Center. Summer speed, agility, and semi-private options are now available at both Verona and Windsor locations and now offering monthly subscription payment options. Plus, you can download the new Total Athlete Performance app for remote training options all year round. Visit tapwisconsin.com. That's tapwisconsin.com.
The madness is right around the corner, and that means the time for proving your hoops knowledge is too. It's the ESPN Wisconsin Bracket Challenge, presented by Cousin Subs. Fill out a bracket, earn the most points at the end of the tourney, and get a $1,000 gift card to Cousin Subs. One winning bracket, $1,000 to Cousin Subs. When the teams are all selected, you can fill out your bracket on ESPN.com or the ESPN Tournament Challenge app. It's the ESPN Wisconsin Bracket Challenge, presented by Cousin Subs. They believe in better.
Look what we have here. It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can. It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi mini can. Mini can, big taste.
Summer is coming, and it's time to start thinking about your summer job. Jesse Nelson here. Madison School and Community Recreation is now hiring for many positions, including day camp and youth program leaders, support staff for individuals with disabilities, sports instructors and officials, and more. Full and part-time positions with daytime and evening hours are available. No matter your interest, schedule, or location, there's a position for everyone. At MSCR, you can make an immediate impact in the community and gain meaningful experience. Start your summer adventure today. Apply at mscr.org.
As you're putting your spring calendar together, we'd love to have you join us Saturday, May 17th for Marco Sicchi's 7th Annual Casting for Kids Fishing Tournament to support the American Family Children's Hospital, UW Carbone Cancer Center. We're on the Madison Chain of Lakes at 8 a.m., then back at the Alliant Energy Center at 2 p.m. for happy hour, dinner, and live and silent auctions, plus a chance to win an Alumacraft fishing boat. To sign up and get more info, go to castingforkids.org. Casting, the number 4kids.org.
One call, that's all. It's not just a slogan, but a way of life at Gruber Law Offices. If you've been injured, call our team today. We've represented tens of thousands of injured Wisconsinites for well over 30 years. Trust Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
We're on the Bucks
He's one of those guys that can absolutely dominate. He can activate that MVP mode.
because we're on Wisconsin Sports.
And you know when Giannis is right, he can carry his team across the finish line.
Madison's home of the Bucks, 100.5 ESPN.
Give me the green light. Cause I'm ready to go. Let's have a good time. Let's go. What you waiting for? You only got one life. And we gon' live it up. So give me the green light. Cause I'm ready to
We've got the green light to keep rolling on here on Saturday tip-off across ESPN Wisconsin. I'm Alex Gravatt in the ESPN Madison Everlight Solar Studio. Josh Dimaggio holding it down in the One Call That's All Gruber Law Office studio. The Wisconsin faithful are blowing up the YouTube chat, in the ESPN Madison YouTube chat, that is. Why talk about Marquette when only a very small number of people who live in the state even like them? On Wisconsin. So we will get to Wisconsin Badgers basketball coming up shortly as they are scheduled to take on Michigan State, which it's a good game. I'm excited for it. Badgers 2.5-point underdogs, but I think it is still a winnable game. But before we get to that, we have concocted a new game. Jesse Nelson, I heard that you put together a wonderful open for the show, branding, all of the X's and O's went into it. I mean, it was really a high-tech ordeal. You got anything for this?
Sure do.
Bump.
Fantastic. All right, so we've all heard of First Take, right? It's a great show. People who are on that show frequent the ESPN Wisconsin airwaves. Today, we bring you Second Take, where we go through and find the greatest takes from the week from our favorite people on our shows, and then we rank them because there's a winner. There's always a winner. So we're going to start with Jim, Matt, and Molly in ESPN Madison, where Molly Brown believed Aaron Rodgers could bring a Super Bowl closer to Minnesota than anything Green Bay could do. Here's Molly Brown.
Now they just need the quarterback to replace Sam Darnold, because I don't think that you can feel confident in J.J. McCarthy going from Michigan to being a good quarterback. He was fine. To then being hurt and out for the year and then automatically throwing him in and just expecting him to win a championship. But I think if you bring in somebody like Aaron Rodgers, you absolutely could. And you finally give him those weapons that he was begging Brian Gutekunst for when he was with the Green Bay Packers. I for sure think that they at least have a shot, a much bigger shot than I would say that the Green Bay Packers have at winning a championship.
Yeesh. Josh Dimaggio, you look like a deer in the headlights.
I believe Aaron Rodgers would decrease the the Minnesota Vikings odds to win the Super Bowl. I believe he would cause strife within the organization. I think there would be people losing their jobs. I think it would be much closer to a repeat in New York than it would do them any sort of benefit. I think J.J. McCarthy gives them a better chance, and I haven't seen him play, but he's not going to have all the drama and all the interest, and I'm calling my shot. We are going to find out that Aaron Rodgers and the Vikings never had any substantive conversations. That was a ploy by Aaron Rodgers agent to drive up his cost with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it served the benefit of Aaron Rodgers getting to soak up as much spotlight and interest and intrigue as humanly possible. The Vikings never even considered Aaron Rodgers as their option ahead of J.J. McCarthy.
Wow. I think as the Vikings, you have to at least toy with the idea because, he did so many just incredible things against you again and again and again and again and again that might as well kick the tires and see what it is. I don't think that he is quite the cancer on the team that you think he might be because he was in New York, but that was everything he wanted. I think Aaron Rodgers, despite all of the problems, despite how stupid I think he is sometimes, is capable of a little bit of learning and would lean into what the Vikings have going on because of how successful they were last year. Then he would come in and say, this is how we're going to do it now. I do believe that. And I think from Molly Brown, it's a scared take. She's around a lot of Vikings fans a lot of the time. Her husband, whatever. So I think that she might have drank the purple Kool-Aid, as it were, but I don't think it's a bad take.
Here's another addition to my take I want to tack on. Both Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi, the GM from Minnesota, are too smart to even bother with the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes. We have to remember, the Packers had to pivot in terms of Jordan Love and being on the rookie contract. Taking a quarterback who's successful on their rookie contract and loading the team as much as humanly possible. I mean, the Vikings have been in and active in free agency. I think their plan from day one is it's J.J. McCarthy or bust.
All right. I like it, and they've been really active in free agency. I guess it does depend how much Aaron Rodgers wants to get paid. Aaron is sitting there, probably has a ton of money to go. Like he likes to rewrite the entire quarterback market. So, all right, keep that in mind. Keep Molly Brown's take in mind. Jim, Matt, and Molly, 4 to 6 on ESPN Wisconsin. Next up, we have Brian Bulaga joining the Homer Hour. He is talking about how important Jair Alexander could be for the Green Bay Packers should he stay in Green Bay. Here's Brian Bulaga on the Homer Hour.
It looks a lot different and he stays healthy. You really like the look of it, right? Him, Hobbs, McKinney, all those young players, it looks pretty good. I'm just saying, if you're able to get a full or close to a full amount of games out of him and he's able to play the way he's normally able to play, I mean, you're talking about a really dynamic secondary.
A dynamic secondary indeed. That was Brian Bulaga on the Homer Hour. If Jair Alexander stays in Green Bay, which it sounds like everyone has kind of agreed that it's time to move on, but I actually tend to agree with him. I think that if there's a reason to keep Jair, and this is what I was talking about earlier, where I also wanted Cooper Kupp, the regular season, it doesn't matter that much at this point. We've proven that the Packers, even in this iteration, can hang with most teams in any regular season game. So you drop a few, you go in as a wild card, and suddenly you've got a real shot at competing because you have Jair Alexander, Hobbs, which I think, we can talk about that later down the road. I think that's a really smart sign considering where the strength of the NFC North is in competing with the Lions and Amon-Ra St. Brown. And then, Keyshawn Nixon, who wants to be that guy and take on number ones, all of this stuff, that could become a very talented secondary that's super well put together. Josh.
I have more confidence in myself to wake up with an 8-pack tomorrow than I do for Jair Alexander to play 17 games in an NFL season. I think it would be an electric 6 games where you have Jair, Hobbs, Keyshawn Nixon, and Carrington Valentine. I think that ship has sailed. I think it is closer to 0% that Jair Alexander is back in a Green Bay Packers uniform than it is to even 25%. I don't think Jair is going to be any interested in a team who basically I would bet he feels pretty betrayed by in the way of handling his injuries and not playing, and they would feel pretty betrayed by seeking a trade offer. The Packers didn't even attempt a pay cut with Jair Alexander because they thought it was dead on arrival. So, to me, we are going to see Jair released, and we are going to see him signed by some team that is a low guarantee with tons and tons of incentives based on playing time, interceptions, and Pro Bowls / All-Pro stuff. I don't think it's going to happen. It really is possible to happen. I think the Packers want Keyshawn Nixon, they want Nate Hobbs, and they want Carrington Valentine with a little Bullard mixed in there as their cornerbacks.
All right, I hear you. I don't want that. I would like the star power of Jair Alexander. I understand that there's a lot going on there. I think if we get him for 8 games, including the postseason, I'd still be happy. All right, we've got one more here.
Postseason.
Alex Strofe scheduled to join soon. Mr. Irrelevant. He says the young wide receivers aren't going to be good enough to make you a championship team. Here's Mr. Strofe.
If they are to finally break the trend, and for the first time since they drafted Javon Walker, are to draft a wide receiver in the first round, you still lack the proven concept, the proven commodity, which feels like last year was what the Packers wide receiving core so desperately lacked, was a true bona fide stud who you can count on. Even if you bring in one of the best receivers in the draft, you don't know that you can rely on them in year one because there are always growing pains for rookie wide receivers with very few exceptions.
All right, that's your guy. That you were in that clip on YouTube that I found.
I didn't hear him.
Well, yeah, he didn't talk, but he was looking pretty there.
I was letting my boy cook.
Absolutely letting your boy. Man, you host with a lot of Alexes. Joshy, what'd you think about your boy?
I think Strofe's take is fine. I think it is understandable. I think it's also a bit safe, which for a lot of people they want. The Packers are at a disadvantage, and what people are looking for is a sexy name. They want sex appeal. They want
Josh
a
Dimaggio.
name that is going to make them, yes, and my 8-pack, that is going to make them excited. They want a name that is going to be impressive. Now, if we just dial it back a little bit here, do you think if Brian Thomas Jr. was on a competing team that he would be a difference maker and probably elevate their wide receiver corps? Absolutely. Do you think Malik Neighbors, if he was on a competing team, would elevate that wide receiver room? I think 1,000%. The Packers are in a spot where they've backed themselves into needing to find a wide receiver that is going to compete immediately. If we remember back to Goody at the Combine talking, he said, no longer are wide receivers, no longer do they take time to be available and contributors on the team. They are closer to NFL ready than ever before. And I don't think he said that with any confusion or any misguidedness in there. He's not trying to put up a screen. He's telling you, I think there are guys in this draft at the wide receiver position that when they are drafted by the Green Bay Packers are going to be immediate and instant contributors. It is not the safest route, but it seems to be the most likely route at this point.
Oh, yeah. I mean, at this point, it is probably a foregone conclusion. Stephon Diggs is old and out there, and I mean, he still has some gas in the tank, I'd imagine. Amari Cooper certainly does. We've seen him be successful wherever he's gone, but you've heard the 3 takes, Josh Dimaggio. You remember them. You were pretty against all 3 of them, so I don't think that this win is necessarily the best of the takes of the week. It's more so the lesser of the evils. But who wins in your mind, Josh Dimaggio? Who had the best take of the week?
I think I got to go with my guy Strophe here.
I tend to agree. I love that we need more wide receivers. Can we get a little bum from our producer extraordinaire? All right.
For him.
He's
not for him. All right. So Jesse's still sad that he left the ESPN Madison team, but he will be joining us in about 10-15 minutes. So the one true marquee of a Jesse Nelson produced show. We're running a little behind on time. This is Saturday Tip-Off across ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Saturday Tip-Off on ESPN Wisconsin and Wisconsin On Demand.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
Listen to Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin on 100.5 ESPN.
People want to fantasize about fantasy football and all of the other stuff. Football is a simple game. Win the line of scrimmage on both sides. You're not going to lose many games.
Wilde and Tausch, weekdays 9 to noon on 100.5 ESPN. Also brought to you by Grassland Dairy, Hallman Lindsay Paints, Coors Light, Made to Chill, and American Family Insurance.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Get ready for the big reveal. The Bruce Company's Outdoor Furniture Extravaganza is your first look at the latest trends in outdoor living. This Saturday, March 15th, the showroom has been updated with stunning new styles, vibrant colors, amazing finishes, and top-quality craftsmanship, all on display. Enjoy refreshments and discounts on select special orders and meet the experts from vendors on site. Saturday, March 15th from 11 till 2 at the Bruce Company in Middleton.
Hi, this is Dave Kane. You're listening to Madison's Home of the Bucks, a good Karma brand radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX, Monona, Madison.
You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand. The chaos is here. The buzzer beaters, the heartbreak. This is Saturday Tip-Off.
Just under an hour away from Wisconsin taking on Michigan State in the Big Ten tournament. They are 2.5-point underdogs, but can they win? This is Saturday Tip-Off. I am Alex Gravatt alongside Josh Dimaggio. We are covering 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee and 100.5 ESPN Madison, and we're taking you right up to kickoff pretty much. Joshy, Wisconsin is hot right now, and I, perhaps just a homer pick, feel like despite being a 2.5-point underdog, this is a very winnable game. Your thoughts?
I think absolutely. I mean, I have nightmares about the last game played against Michigan State. It felt like Michigan State was scoring at will. Obviously, you aren't projecting such a poor game, a shooting from three for the Badgers this time around. I don't envision that really ever happening again for this team in specific, but you've got the Tom Izzo factor. That is scary. That is going to loom large in everyone's mind. And you have a blueprint there that they showed in Michigan State that makes that team susceptible to being defeated. I think the bigs are an issue. We'll see how it looks this time around. But I can't get the visions out of my head of that Michigan State team alley-ooping all over the bigs for Wisconsin. It just felt bad. It wasn't an entertaining watch. I do expect a closer, more competitive game, but I think the Badgers have a chance to beat this team. If their offense is going, if John Tonje is on, if you got Kamari McGee contributing along with John Blackwell and a decent performance from the two bigs and Nolan Winter and Stephen Krell, you got a chance to beat anyone. It just depends which version of the team that shows up. Are they going to be there? Are they going to make a difference? And are they going to score? And are they going to get that point total up towards the 80s, which I think plays way better to Wisconsin than it does to a team like Michigan State?
Wisconsin has just a swagger about them right now that feels like nothing I remember over the last 6 years since I was in the university, right? Like there is a lot of excitement. They have they've got multiple looks on every possession. There's a lot to like about what they're doing, but more than any of it, it is this depth and swagger that they have. John Tonje showed up and he just brought it. And that's really what excites me. He had a terrible game against Michigan State last time, and I expect him to take that personally, especially after what he did yesterday, right? I mean, he was just on fire against UCLA. Everyone was on fire against UCLA, and they had 18 threes, which is, again, as Jesse alluded to earlier, that tied the Big Ten tournament record for most threes in a game. So I'm looking at what's happening, and the Badgers are hot. They are feeling it. They're feeling themselves. And this is the kind of team that, regardless of who wins this game, I think that will be the Big Ten champion. I fully believe that this is the Big Ten championship game, despite it being the semifinal. And I don't think that Wisconsin should be the underdog. I know that Tom Izzo and I know that Michigan State is fantastic, but right now, what we've seen from the Badgers, it's too much. It's just so good.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are having a hard time getting over the recent loss to Penn State, the recent losses to Oregon, and then obviously Michigan State, as we mentioned it. It felt like the Badgers were hot and were a team that were getting things going in the right direction, and then you laid a couple of eggs there. I think Max Klesmit being back for this game is going to be a difference maker for the Badgers. I do, whenever you are not the favorite, that means Vegas is seeing something here that they have a slight advantage to Michigan State, but by no means is a 2.5-point deficit anything big. That's going to be a game that comes down to the last seconds, the final seconds. Do you execute late? Do you hold and maintain a lead, or do you give it away and give it to the other team? We've seen the Badgers do that multiple times. The frustration I've felt watching much of that Michigan State game is not a new feeling this season at all, but if your offense is going, if it stays at high, if you get the offense from yesterday, now obviously we're not going to probably break any records in terms of made three-pointers, but if that same vibe is out there, if the ball's moving as well and the ball's going in more frequently than it did in their last meeting, I think the Badgers are right there, and they have a really good chance to win this game.
The thing that stands out to me is that last time these two teams faced, Michigan State and in Wisconsin, they both had 32 points in the paint. If the Badgers can stay on pace with Michigan State down low in the paint, the layups, there's absolutely no reason the Badgers should lose. I know that Michigan State's a good 3-point defending team, but they shot 15%. Last night, they shot nearly 60. That won't be replicated. There's no chance that if it is, then it'll be a walk-through win. But this is the kind of team that can get hot and beat just about anyone in the tournament here, in the Big Ten tournament, but also moving forward when we get into March Madness. And I guess 844-770-3776, my question to you is, beyond just this game, because obviously this is the game at hand. This is the one that they're focused on. This is the one that we'll be watching in an hour. But do the Badgers have the kind of team build to make an exciting run in the postseason, in March Madness, in the tournament? I think so. I think that the depth of the team means that when legs are tired, they will continue to be successful. And when push comes to shove and they have to score a ton of points, they have the guys to do that at the top level too. You've got stars and you have fresh legs.
I mean, this team needs to make it to a Sweet 16. We see the projected seed. It looks like the Badgers are going to be a 3 seed based on the win against UCLA. It looks like they have a chance to play right here in Milwaukee at Fiserv Forum. Getting a 3 seed in the tournament means you have high expectations. You have a pretty good path to making a deep run. I think anything short of a Sweet 16 is going to be a great disappointment. I like their chances to get there. I believe in their chances to get there. But I've seen too many times where the Badgers face an inferior opponent and play to their level or let the game slip away. Scoring is the new Badgers. They learned, hey, we got to modernize. We got to play a different style here. And it is going to make it. They have multiple ways of scoring, multiple ways of getting to the hoop, multiple ways of getting good shots. So I have a lot of hope. I have a lot of belief. And I think they are as good and as positioned and as ready as I've seen a Badgers team of late.
Yeah, and getting into the paint and getting downhill is something that I'd like to see them still do. Kamari McGee did a really good job of that yesterday, had a couple of shots where maybe you take an ill-advised 3, and then and perhaps break that record, or you can drive down, get close, and make a layup. He had some incredibly athletic plays down at the hoop. And that's something that this Badgers team is doing better than the Badgers teams of the last few years. When the shot clock is low, they can get downfield. They can get down towards the hoop, towards the rack, and knock it home. And again, I'm not saying that this is a championship caliber team. I don't know if that's true. And part of it is because Jim Rutledge from 4 to 6 2 weeks ago was just berating me. He's saying, there's nothing different about this team. Every year we think that it's the team. Again, this team is different than the past few. Chucky Hepburn is out there. He's having a very successful season with Louisville, and he was the guy that we all relied on, and Louisville's not having nearly the season Wisconsin is. So when you look at it that way, I'm very confident in it. I'm also confident that we will have a bigger dork, a bigger doofus come in with more Homer energy than any of us. As Alex Strofe. Oh,
the
yeah.
doofus. Hey, stick around for the doofus.
What a tease.
He
People are going to
actually
be locked
called
to their
himself
seats.
Mr. Irrelevant. That's some doofus energy if I've ever heard. Is doofus not a good word for you guys?
No, it is. I just there might be a better way to say, hey, the clown's coming to town. I don't know if that's the way to.
No, that's Dunzo. We're not Dunzo yet.
Oh.
Thank you,
Real
Jesse
quick
Nelson.
As well, just in the interest of accuracy here, because I'm not one to defend Badgers or former Badgers. You know me. But in Chucky Hepburn's defense, as a guy who just hit a buzzer beater in his conference tournament.
That was the weirdest buzzer beater ever, too. I don't know if you saw that.
It's still a buzzer beater.
Louisville in the latest AP poll 13, Wisconsin in the latest AP poll 18.
Louisville playing for an ACC title tonight against Duke.
Oh, they beat Clemson?
They did.
I had just written Clemson in as the winner. Okay, so all right. They are having a very successful season, and we'll see. They might beat Duke without Cooper Flagg, and then everyone's going to be so hot on them, and they might be a first-round pick for me to just get knocked out in the bracket. If you're doing the Cousin Subs Challenge for ESPN Wisconsin, there's one to look for that maybe won't live up to the hype. This is Wisconsin Tip-Off across ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Saturday Tip-Off on ESPN Wisconsin and Wisconsin On Demand.
The GRB Academy is baseball for the serious player. GRB Academy wants to be part of your plan to reach your potential. Utilize GRB Academy's 52,000 square foot facility, 14 batting cages, and 6,000 square foot weight room. Personal lessons at the GRB Baseball Academy are available year-round. With over 300 college players and over 150 Division I players, GRB has consistently led the way in the Midwest for college recruitment and player development. Visit their website, grbacademy.com, for more information. That's grbacademy.com. GRB Academy, baseball for the serious player.
The madness is right around the corner, and that means the time for proving your hoops knowledge is too. It's the ESPN Wisconsin Bracket Challenge, presented by Cousin Subs. Fill out a bracket, earn the most points at the end of the tourney, and get a $1,000 gift card to Cousin Subs. One winning bracket, $1,000 to Cousin Subs. When the teams are all selected, you can fill out your bracket on ESPN.com or the ESPN Tournament Challenge app. It's the ESPN Wisconsin Bracket Challenge, presented by Cousin Subs. They believe in better.
Professional volleyball is in full swing from here in Madison. Don't miss a second of the action. Cheer on Love Madison Volleyball as they make history with some of the best players in the world. Olympic medalists, NCAA All-Americans, and one of the most talented rookie classes ever. This is volleyball at its highest level. Experience the excitement yourself. Get your tickets today at lovb.com. Volleyball is the next major league.
What are you doing out there?
Come on!
I saw you at the game the other night. Yeah, you. Up there getting mad, acting like we're all out there making $1 million a game. Well, let me be real with you. This isn't the pros. It's school sports, and it's a game, our game. So please, let us play.
School sports fans, remember, when you cheer for your team, make noise for the right reasons. This message presented by the NFHS and the NIAAA.
And all student athletes in Wisconsin.
Is your computer so slow you can hardly use it? Does it have blue screens, malware, viruses, reboots, hardware crashes? Sound familiar? Computers will have problems, and when they do, you need the computer experts at Madison Computer Works. Every day we help home users and businesses keep their computers and networks running smoothly. For solutions to your computer problems, call the pros at 231-8000, and we'll turn this into this. Madison Computer Works, computers that work for you.
Hey,
ready to sweeten your game? It's time for Quick Trip's Nature's Touch Ice Cream. Ooh, making moves like the starting lineup of a championship team. Whether you're gearing up for the big game, celebrating a win, or just looking for a sweet break in the action. Chocolate, vanilla, cookies and cream, mint chocolate chip, and more. Yeah, there's no such thing as a bad pick. So why wait? Flavor doesn't scoop itself. Get your hands on your winning Nature's Touch Ice Cream flavor today. Only at Quick Trip.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 provides game recaps for every game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
With the next pick in the big draft, Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Dane County selects you. As we count down to the draft in Green Bay, Big Brothers and Big Sisters is also counting on you to help meet the growing demand of mentorship in our community. Become a role model, a motivator, a supporter, a positive influence. Empower the young people in our community to create a brighter future for all. Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Dane County presents The Big Draft in partnership with the NFL Inspire Change. Learn how to get involved at bbbsmadison.org.
We're on the Badgers.
Who would have thought after 2 seasons?
Because we're on Wisconsin Sports.
That Greg Gard would have less of a hot seat than Luke Fickell.
This is 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Heads Carolina, tails California, somewhere greener, somewhere warmer, up in the mountains, down by the ocean, where it don't matter, long as we're going somewhere together.
Devontae Adams will not be changing his number in Los Angeles. He will stay number 17. Alex Strofe might be changing his colors. Strofe, we had this conversation via the private talk and text line. What are you wearing, my dude?
I just went to 3 different stores on the search for something green because I have no green in my wardrobe, apparently. So I bought an Eddie Bauer button-up that was on clearance at Kohl's. And I am wearing 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm wearing 5 green necklaces, beaded necklaces. I gave one to Josh, and he ripped it in half.
Yep,
So
broken. Out of here.
But Brian D is still wearing his. I would give you and Jesse one as well, but now I'm running low with broken beads. So I am wearing green.
You are aware you can go out and celebrate St. Patrick's Day without wearing green.
No.
They will let you in the bar.
I was being a reporter in the field, boots on the ground. I made a lap around Wisconsin Avenue and Wells Street as the downtown Milwaukee transforms into the heartbeat of St. Patrick's Day here in the state of Wisconsin.
Okay.
It is chaos outside. I mean, there are people camping out hours ahead of time. There are people wearing Yoshi costumes like the Mario character because he's green.
Yeah.
I mean,
I hate everything you're saying. I hate it. I think St. Patrick's Day is second on the power rankings of amateur hour days to go out.
What's number 1, New Year's Eve?
This is Saturday tip-off across ESPN Wisconsin. I'm Alex Gravatt alongside Josh Dimaggio. Alex Strofe, Mr. Irrelevant, our inaugural second take winner, joins us now.
What was my take? I missed it.
On the wide receivers.
What was my take? That they're
young
being left
wide
behind?
receivers.
What did I say?
That young wide receivers aren't going to be good enough to make you a championship team.
Oh, that's a good take by me. Yeah, I stand by that one.
I still disagreed with you, but I gave you the win.
What was the other take?
There were 3 takes. Brian Balaga on the Homer Hour said Jair Alexander would make, if he stays, would make this secondary scary good. And
it's a good take if he's healthy.
Molly Brown on Jim, Matt, and Molly said Minnesota would be closer to winning a Super Bowl than Green Bay if Aaron Rodgers went to Minnesota.
Well, that's a bad take. Aaron Rodgers is old.
He's old.
They have a better shot with J.J. McCarthy.
Okay, but did you see what the 2015 or 16 Broncos did? They were 14.
Peyton Manning was lifeless. They had the best defense in the league by a mile.
They really did. But the year before, they were fantastic, and I don't think that Aaron Rodgers is completely washed.
He's dust.
I don't either, G. I agree. If he finds himself in the right situation, he can be fine.
The nicest thing you've been able to say about Aaron Rodgers last year is
he threw Hail Mary.
Hail Mary.
He had a Hail Mary at the end of the first half one game, and I was like, oh, baby.
No one questioned his arm. That's never been his problem.
Yeah, right. He just can't move at all, right? And running has never been a big part of his skill set, his toolbox, but
he's mobile. He is. He's a pocket navigator.
At 41 years old?
No, I'm saying that has been a part of his game. Sorry. Yes.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, no longer. I want to see him in Pittsburgh. I just think that would be fun.
It's going to be a disaster.
So how's this going to work on Second Take? Because if we continue doing the show and you continue doing said segment, are you going to have the winner of the Second Take contest on every week like I am this week?
I don't know if we would have been able to get Brian Bulaga on the horn today. Jesse,
sure you would have been able to.
Jesse Nelson's looking at his phone. Seems unlikely.
I mean, Bulaga's he just texts me when Wisconsin loses football games now. We're pretty tight. He's like, oh, Badgers lost another one. I'm like, wow, thanks, Brian Bulaga.
You earned that.
The biggest issue here, G, is you are requiring Jesse Nelson to do work. And that's not going to happen, especially on a Saturday. It's a miracle he's in the studio today. So props to you, Jesse. Proud of you.
Yes, the part-timers all said no to trying to work with me. So, I'm not that big a deal, I guess.
Nothing like turning down an opportunity to be on a dual market show, part-timers. Way to really get fired up about working. That's awesome.
So you did find something green to wear, and I said, given the circumstances, today's a good day to wear red and claim colorblind. Go Badgers. Why are you wearing green?
Oh, yeah, this is a bad day for that. That's not a bad point. Like I mentioned, we are in the epicenter of St. Patrick's Day action that's not north of Chicago.
I was going to say, Chicago. You're 2 hours away from something 18 times the size of what you're experiencing.
Of Chicago. And it is a zoo here at the 3rd Street Market Hall and just outside because this is the beginning of the parade route. Do you think if I brought my 11-pound dog and just started walking her down the parade route that anybody would say anything to me?
No.
Trample.
You think I could just join the parade?
I think it'd get stepped on, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The dog or me?
Both of you.
Yeah, that's true.
He's wearing green because he is famous for his dual supporting Marquette and Wisconsin shirt. It's because he's not a real fan of either team. He's a fake fan.
You know that's
He's not a real fan.
You know that's
not a real fan.
Okay.
To back up Joshy's argument there too,
here we go.
He's not really even wearing green. You know what I mean? That's more of like a taupe.
Kind of a cop out.
Kind of like an army green.
I just needed something. TJ Maxx.
You didn't.
TJ
You got the beads.
TJ Maxx literally had no green.
Shocking that the day everyone celebrates, there might be sold out of green items.
Not a bad point by you.
Even a very slight thought ahead of time would have probably prevented any issues
now,
here today.
Hold on. In my defense, in my defense, I did not have these plans until about 90 or so minutes ago. Our buddy Primetime Wollersheim from Jim, Matt, and Molly's coming to Milwaukee.
I don't want to hear it.
I told him I would show him
want
around.
to hear
St. Patrick's Day sneaks up on you every year.
I
Never
just
know what it's going to be.
I just Googled to make sure it wasn't today.
It's not. It's Monday.
This is just lack of self-awareness.
By me?
You are a drinker.
I am. That's accurate.
You were.
I love real quick. Real quick. I always get down for a green beer. I am a word you cannot say on the radio for green beer. Once a year. I'm gonna drink 16 of them tonight.
You knew without having plans you were going to end up out for St. Patrick's Day.
So I have confirmed my girlfriend isn't working. Excuse me. My girlfriend and her sister are currently getting brunch and her sister's nails done because she's going on vacation with her long-term boyfriend next week.
What color?
Hint, hint. Nudge, nudge. Right. So they are out and about. So I was like, I think I'm just going to sit at home and watch college basketball all day. But then Wooly texted me and said, we got to watch the Michigan State Badgers game. And I said, all right. He said, I want to drink mimosas. And I said, well, hold on a minute.
I love a good mimosa.
Me too.
Are they dyeing the mimosa green?
Yes.
Or else I'm out. So we will
You need to put blue dye in to get green because blue and yellow.
But it's orange.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's not how it works.
It's not that orange. I promise that if you put green dye in your mimosa and I put blue in mine is going to look greener.
Josh, thoughts? You're a science guy.
That would be closer to color theory, but with some of the that's a great. He might have a point there.
Are we doing this show regularly, or is this just a one-off?
Don't know. I was invited, and I said sure.
Jesse, convenient day to have the bosses here. Jesse, Brian, is this a regular show or is this a one-off?
We're bringing it back next week, and we'll go from there.
I'm still hung up on how the guy from Green Bay that roots for the Green Bay Packers doesn't own any green.
You don't have a single green shirt.
Yeah, I have black sweatshirts.
And
I
you have that
yellow
white
sweatshirts.
stuff from their whiteout.
And then, I have the whiteout shirt.
Yeah,
I have
call your pro shop
I have the
guy.
white Jordan Love jersey. I have a white, not that this matters anymore, I have a white HaHa Clinton Dix jersey.
If we were to also
Great
power
jersey.
rank the people who are call the shot, I want to go have fun today, Wooly is bottom 5 for me.
Brother, Wooly gets after it.
I like him
He's
a
the
lot.
coordinator of the entire festivity today.
But if Wooly calls the shot, I'm
Ringleader.
thinking we're going to go to a coffee shop and have a mediocre night.
What? I hate to be that guy. That's actually me. Strofe and I worked together for 2 years and immediately made plans. We got to go tear down Atwood. Atwood has all these weird dive bars. It's cash only. Like, you're going to get Blatt's beer. And we never did it because I'm always busy playing board games, playing Ultimate Frisbee, working out on weekend nights. I'm just not that exciting.
You're not anymore, especially post-punctured lung.
That'll put a hitch in your giddy up.
That's a turning point.
I don't know if that's a fair statement. I wasn't very exciting before then. I was working to make a professional Ultimate Frisbee team. That's interesting, but kind of boring.
Cool. Yeah, that's fair.
Cool.
I don't know, man. Nicely done, whoever just did that. Was that Brian or Jesse? Are we having a hotkey off?
If I were to bet. Oh, wow. Now I'm confused. I saw Brian reaching for a mouse there. But Jesse scrolled back to the old. Well, it's still on KBN and just clicked it.
So hold on. So, Jesse, you're working because nobody wanted to work?
Yeah.
Okay, Brian, are you also working because nobody wanted to
No,
work?
I volunteered my services.
Okay, that's the difference
Well,
right there.
we also have to
shut
consider
up,
here.
Brian.
The normal fill-ins are much like you in age
Yeah.
and in desires. Today is a drinking day.
Guess what? And guess where I am, Josh?
Well, yeah, you're
You just
though.
spent 10 minutes telling us how much you're going out drinking
Yes.
and need a green shirt.
Well, but I still showed up. It's not noon yet.
Yeah, you're older now, though. You're a little bit aged out.
Yeah,
you're
that's
starting
true.
later.
That's unfortunate.
The young kids have been going since 8 a.m.
That's okay, but I realize I don't have that. Hey, it's Greg Hale. I don't have that. I don't have that in me.
Rachel Fry.
I don't have that in me anymore. To go all day. So my girlfriend's brother is coming to town for the Bucks game tonight. So I at least have to be coherent. Why is that deserving of a cool? I at least have to be.
Brother, girlfriend, brag.
Whose laugh is that?
That's Kay Adams.
Kay Adams, up and Adams.
Without a doubt. I need to be coherent at 5 p.m. So if I go from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., that would not be a pretty scene for anyone.
Every hour past noon is less likely to be coherent and in good standing.
Yeah. What are you doing today?
I'm going to the golf sim, going to watch hoops.
Hey, I heard you mention that you were going to invite Gabe Neitzel. Are you aware he's on an airplane right now?
Yes.
Okay. Just make.
I realized that after I said it.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. Sometimes you just fire from the hip.
Hey, way to know your hosts. Way to know your hosts.
I'm
It's very
free.
good. Why am I here again? What are we talking about here, Jay?
I don't know.
We've given me no direction. What do you want?
Well, I wanted. So we're talking a little bit about the Badgers basketball team, right? They're looking good.
Yep.
We've got a shot against Michigan State coming up. Let's talk sports next. Can we steal you for another 15 minutes?
Dude, I'm good till noon. So whatever you need, I'm here.
All right, this is Saturday Tip-Off across ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Saturday Tip-Off on ESPN Wisconsin and Wisconsin On Demand.
As you're putting your spring calendar together, we'd love to have you join us Saturday, May 17th for Marco Sicchi's 7th annual Casting for Kids Fishing Tournament to support the American Family Children's Hospital, UW Carbone Cancer Center. We're on the Madison Chain of Lakes at 8 a.m., then back at the Alliant Energy Center at 2 p.m. for happy hour, dinner, and live and silent auctions, plus a chance to win an Alumacraft fishing boat. To sign up and get more info, go to castingforkids.org. Casting4kids.org.
When it comes to your body, you want to trust a doctor, and you want to trust the experts. That's why the only place that you should consider going for GLP-1s and semaglutide is Carbon World Health in Madison, because they're run by Dr. Nestor Rodriguez. They have a workout facility and trainers to help you reach your goals, and they can help with dietary suggestions. The experts for semaglutide and GLP-1s are Carbon World Health. Learn more at carbonworldhealth.com.
Look what we have here. It's the refreshing deliciousness of a Pepsi mini can,
It's the perfect complement to any meal. The dash of indulgence your day was dreaming of. The sip that'll have you singing Pepsi.
Nope, not again, Steve. Let's take a cue from the Pepsi mini can and pack all that awesomeness you're feeling into a much smaller treat for everyone. Deal?
So, big awesomeness, smaller size. I think I've got just the thing.
Pepsi mini can. Mini can, big taste.
Experience, knowledge, results. That's what really matters when you need help after a serious truck accident. You'll need a lawyer experienced in fighting and winning for people just like you. Gruber Law Offices has the resources, strong track record of success, and a team of experienced lawyers to take care of your needs. We've successfully helped people injured in big truck accidents for more than 35 years. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Join the Madison Area Sports Commission live and in person for a Good Morning Sports event featuring Love Madison Volleyball. On March 31st, meet an all-star lineup of Love Madison athletes and hear about the first season of pro volleyball in Madison. Registration donations benefit the MASC Youth Grant to get kids into sports. Register online at visitmadison.com/GMS. This event is sponsored by American Family Insurance and Oak Bank, supported by ESPN Madison, and produced by the Madison Area Sports Commission.
The madness is right around the corner, and that means the time for proving your hoops knowledge is too. It's the ESPN Wisconsin Bracket Challenge, presented by Cousin Subs. Fill out a bracket, earn the most points at the end of the tourney, and get a $1,000 gift card to Cousin Subs. One winning bracket, $1,000 to Cousin Subs. When the teams are all selected, you can fill out your bracket on ESPN.com or the ESPN Tournament Challenge app. It's the ESPN Wisconsin Bracket Challenge, presented by Cousin Subs. They believe in better.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer. Our policy is to provide equal opportunity employment, development, and advancement to all current and potential teammates. If you are an organization that maintains a job bank, provides employment information, or gives job referrals, you may request to be placed on the station's mailing list for future career opportunities. To learn more about careers at Good Karma Brands, please email careers@goodkarmabrands.com.
NBA Sunday on ESPN Radio.
One-handed jam! Donovan Mitchell!
Paolo Banchero and the Orlando Magic head to Cleveland to go head-to-head with Donovan Mitchell and the top-seeded Cavaliers.
Sunday on 100.5 ESPN.
Saturday tip-off rolls on with Stroh sticking around for a second segment. He's wearing green despite the Badgers taking on the Michigan State Spartans. I'm Alex Gravatt in the ESPN Madison Everlight Solar Studio. They're both him and Josh Dimaggio in the One Call That's All Gruber Law Offices studio. And there you go, Stroh. You got a little direction. You were asking for direction. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
For once in my life, I asked for direction. Okay, so I have a theory here. And tell me if this tracks. And you know, the actual opinion I really want here, believe it or not, is Jesse Nelson's. Because I know he loves a dumb theory.
I'm going to walk away.
You might need to, because it's a dumb theory. And I will admit that right off the top. So last year, Jesse Nelson and I witnessed the upset over Purdue in the Big Ten Tournament semifinals together in the Kohl Center. And obviously the Badgers go on a great run in the Big Ten Tournament. And what happens in the NCAA tournament, Joshy? They lose to a 12th seed in James Madison. I believe if the Badgers win today, they will be a first weekend exit. If they lose today, I believe they are in the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2017.
That's dumb.
Yeah, it's really stupid. So, Last year's team had a lot of flaws that this year's team does not have.
No,
The
correct.
team has evolved from a year ago to now. If you're going to go through the gauntlet of the Big Ten tournament, we debated the other day on Wilde and Tausch, and quite frankly, just in our office when we were out enjoying the Kyle Brust and Nortman remote on Thursday afternoon here in downtown Madison. We were debating the value of winning a conference tournament and going through the 4-game in 4-day gauntlet that it is, especially against some really solid competition today and tomorrow, theoretically, and then turning around and playing maybe Friday, maybe even Thursday in the NCAA tournament. Last year, we saw Wisconsin come out flat. Last year's team, very different than this year's squad.
Oh, definitely.
And the team, the returning players certainly learned from last year's experience, but this year's team is entirely different. The leader of this year's team is different than the leader of last year's team. Like, I don't think there's any direct correlation to seeing how you make a run at a conference tournament and bow out right away in the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
We just went through the numbers yesterday on teams that have reached the Big Ten tournament championship game and how they fared in the NCAA tournament. Some bow out in the first weekend, some bow out in the first round, some make a Final Four, some win the national title. Like, it all just depends on what kind of squad you have, the coaching, the leadership that you have in place. Not really relevant at all to how you play in the Big Ten tournament and how many games.
Excuse my ignorance.
Yes.
What do those two things have to do with one another other than gut?
Gut. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Okay.
No, I mean, I called it a dumb theory. I'm mostly joking when I say it. This is a really good basketball team.
Let's go idiotic.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time you've called me that. I do believe this team is much different than last year's team, Jesse, to your point, right? Like, they started playing some of this style offensively, but it really didn't come together until John Tonje. Oh, bagpipes coming through the 3rd Street Micron Hall.
Let's go.
That's how you know it's St. Patty's Day weekend, baby. They started kind of playing this style offensively last year, but this year it's taken to a completely different level. Now, obviously, ending the regular season on the note they did with a loss to an awful Penn State team at the Kohl Center last week, they've turned things around. Now, they were missing Max Klesmet, I get that, but I don't know how fair of an excuse that is to lose to a horrible Nittany Lions team. Today's game is truly going to show you what this Badgers team is made of. Michigan State is totally competent of making a Final Four run. They're one of the best teams in the country, and the Badgers have seen them once before on the road, and they gave them a fine game. I just think on a neutral site, on a day like today, national television, all eyes on you, this is going to be quite a prove-it game for Greg Garden Company. Now, as it has been all season for this Badgers team, if you play a dominant big, you are in trouble. And that is something I would like to see them clean up today ahead of the tournament next week, and no matter if it's a win or a loss today. If they can keep Michigan State's bigs in check, I think that's an encouraging sign for the first weekend next week. And obviously, if they're in Milwaukee, the crowd behind them, that helps. Even if they're not in Milwaukee, as long as they get a decent matchup down low, I feel good about them getting back to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2017.
But didn't you just said it's a prove-it game, but you're saying if they win today, they're probably going to lose in the first. So what are they trying to prove?
Jesse, again, I'm mostly joking when I say that.
So last time, okay, let's. I want to hear you out a little bit more. Last time they played against Michigan State, they kept up with them in down low scoring. They got out-rebounded pretty notably, but they both scored 32 points in the paint. They just were terrible from beyond the arc. If that happens again, do you feel better or worse about the Badgers?
If what happens again? If they do the same in terms of scoring down low?
Yeah, they can hang with them down low, but they can't score threes. How do you feel?
Well, this team is made on three-pointers, so I mean, they need to do that. I mean, you saw the game the other night. What was that, 2 days ago against Northwestern? That was never close because
you saw the
scored,
game yesterday.
What was it, 13 threes in the first half against Northwestern? If Tonje and Kamari McGee and Blackwell and even Crowell to a point are on fire from deep, I don't know that anybody can keep up with them. They're one of the best, if not the best, offensive team in the country. They shoot the three at a ridiculous clip. They shoot free throws at a historic clip, one of the best ever in NCAA basketball. So they need to outshoot teams. I mean, that's just going to be their path. But when it comes to down low, they can't allow second points or second chance points. They can't allow offensive rebounds. And that's where they've struggled this year, specifically because Nolan Winter is still young and upcoming, and Stephen Crowell just hasn't taken a huge step forward in his 5 years now at Wisconsin.
I think that, it's all very fair. I still think that, the offensive explosion that this team can be. There's something about it. There's a swagger. There's an excitement that I haven't felt in a long time for Wisconsin. And I mean, I think part of it is, as in the studios here, we have the Maine versus Bryant American East Championship game.
Yeah, Bryant.
It's just
Bryant Bulldogs.
They're terrible. Like, this is, I can tell you right now, neither of these two teams, whichever one wins, which it's going to be Bryant, they're up 16 points with 3 minutes left, are going to do anything in the tournament. And I feel like watching the Badgers, there's no way to know what they're going to do in the tournament because they could just destroy a good team.
Did you just compare the Badgers to an American East champion?
A little bit. Because, like, I'm watching two lifeless teams
believe it or not, G. Believe it or not, Wisconsin going to have a higher seed than Wofford.
Yeah, but, Wofford's not in this game, dude. All right?
Well, Wofford already punched their
I know, but we're not talking about Wofford.
Have a real conversation, Strofe.
Talking about the Bryant Bulldogs.
Yes, they're going to be better than Bryant. But, like, last year, I went into it feeling terrible about their first round matchup. And right now, specifically maybe just because I'm watching terrible basketball, I feel much better about whoever they're going to take on, and I think that they can go out and just blow up any team. I also think that there's a likability about Wisconsin that maybe there wasn't the last 2 years. Brian D., thoughts?
I think Greg Gard deserves a ton of credit for philosophically changing the way that Wisconsin plays basketball. For 100 years, they tried to take the air out of the basketball. They tried to beat you with defense and slow pace and win games 42-38. And he evolved. He understood stylistically that can't happen if you want to be a national championship contender in 2025. He went out. He got the right players. Tanjay was a tremendous add. And now they legitimately are, again, a Final Four contender because they changed the way that they're playing. So I agree that they can win this game. They can beat anybody on their best day when they shoot like yesterday. You're scoring in the 80s every day, and you're shooting 23s a game or 43s a game and making 20 of them, you're going to beat a lot of teams, but I think the credit goes to Greg Gard for understanding we can't play like Tony Bennett anymore.
Well, real quick, Brian.
We can't ugly up basketball games. We have to evolve. Greg Gard deserves a ton of credit for being self-aware and understanding that's not going to work in 2025.
I just wanted to hear if you thought the team was likable. Sorry, Struff, go on.
They are likable, but to Brian's point,
offense is likable. Making points is likable. Scoring
the basketball
points sucks.
Yes.
Scoring 100 points is fun.
Yes.
Flopping and Brad Davison sucks. Punching guys below the belt sucks. Going to the monitor every 4 seconds for a technical foul sucks.
But
that's the way Wisconsin played for 100 years until this year. So no, it's not surprising that there's a love affair with this team that is finally playing a likable style of basketball.
It's a good point by you. And to your point on the likability and the evolution for Greg Gard, the other point is this is a team that always, especially under Bo Ryan, and I know it's a new era of college basketball, but they were develop your guys, right? Stay 4 years, don't really play much as a freshman, evolve with the recruits you have, and they stay put. That is no longer the era we live in. And for a guy that lost a majority of his roster this offseason, he could have leaned back and complained about the state of college basketball and said, woe is me. We lose everybody because we can't keep up with the SEC and Kansas and Kentucky in terms of NIL. But he didn't do that.
He could have taken the Tony Bennett route. That's exactly what Tony Bennett
Peaced
did.
out, right? Peaced out. But he didn't. He stayed put. He found guys you'd never heard of in John Tanjay, who's become one of the best players in the entire country. He's filled the void with Xavier Amos, who comes off the bench and plays 15 minutes a night. Like, he's found ways to still stick to the develop your John Blackwells, your Max Klesmits, your Nolan Winters, your Stephen Crowells, but then he goes out and he brings in pieces that are huge contributors. For the second year in a row, your leading scorer wasn't on the team last year. So the evolution of Greg Gard deserves a ton of praise and credit, and that's why he's a finalist for the Naismith Coach of the Year.
I love to hear it. I'm gassed up. They play in less than 10 minutes, so we absolutely have to go. Strofe, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
I want it back.
Joshy, I'll talk to you Monday on Mr. Ella.
Mixing a water, kid.
This is Saturday Tip-Off across ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Saturday Tip-Off on ESPN Wisconsin and Wisconsin On Demand.
Greg Scalzi here for Total Athlete Performance. They're here to provide elite performance training for serious athletes in the Madison area. And there's a new Verona TAP facility open inside of the Verona Athletic Center. Summer speed, agility, and semi-private options are now available at both Verona and Windsor locations and now offering monthly subscription payment options. Plus, you can download the new Total Athlete Performance app for remote training options all year round. Visit tapwisconsin.com. That's tapwisconsin.com.
It's all about the green and gold and nonsense on Kyle, Brust, and Nordman.
Those aren't human rips, but they could be human rips. Is somebody going through my trash? Do I have a woodpecker and a raccoon problem? Do you need to get rid of raccoons?
You got a zoo, animal house. That's what you got. Woodpeckers, dogs, raccoons.
Kyle, Brust, and Nordman. Presented by Bud Light, the official beer of the NFL. Weekdays from 2 till 4 on 100.5 ESPN and Wisconsin On Demand.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
Hey, it's Matt Hamilton here, and as a proud Wisconsinite, I'm all about supporting local. And there's nothing more local than Metcalf's Market. St. Patrick's Day is coming up, and Metcalf's Market has you covered for your Shamrock festivities. Find deals on corned beef brisket, sauerkraut, and great produce like carrots, cabbage, and potatoes. Don't forget to stop by their deli department for the classics like Reuben sandwiches, beef stew, and corned beef brats. Visit their locations at Hilldale, near Westtown Mall, or in Wauwatosa today. Metcalf's Market. Bring local home.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Starion Bank redefines local banking in Madison. As a community bank with a commitment to Dane County, experience a banking relationship where your goals are our priority. Enjoy competitive deposit and loan rates and a partnership that thrives on local engagement and support. Starion Bank is more than a full-service financial institution. It's a community pillar dedicated to your prosperity. Visit one of our convenient branches in Middleton, Monona, or Sun Prairie. Starion Bank, offering banking, lending, mortgage, and cash management.
In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how to save money and save the planet. It's simple. Ditch your energy bill and make the switch over to Everlight Solar. While electricity prices keep rising, Everlight Solar will give you the chance to take ownership of your power while also reducing your carbon footprint. As a local company based out of Madison, they'll be there with you every step of the way as you make the switch to solar. To learn more about how you can save money and save the planet, go to everlightsolar.com.
The madness is right around the corner, and that means the time for proving your hoops knowledge is too. It's the ESPN Wisconsin Bracket Challenge, presented by Cousin Subs. Fill out a bracket, earn the most points at the end of the tourney, and get a $1,000 gift card to Cousin Subs. One winning bracket, $1,000 to Cousin Subs. When the teams are all selected, you can fill out your bracket on ESPN.com or the ESPN Tournament Challenge app. It's the ESPN Wisconsin Bracket Challenge, presented by Cousin Subs. They believe in better.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Monday, there's been a lot of quarterback movement so far, but which under-the-radar move will have the biggest impact? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
The dog days are over. The dog days are done. The horses are coming. So
The dark days might be over for Wisconsin basketball. Heading to the Big Ten semifinals against Michigan State. This is Saturday Tip-Off. I'm Alex Gravatt alongside Josh Dimaggio. We have been having the time of our lives getting you ready for that game for tip-off. I want to bring up really quick Wofford, the school that Stroke brought up when we were talking about the American East dog crap basketball game going on right now. They have a big man who shoots underhand, according to Chrissy Birdsall. our part-timer who has finally shown up for the shift. He throws underhand for his shots, free throws. I love it. This is what March Madness is about. Like, and they score a ton of points per game. They're projected to play Alabama. Like, that's the kind of hero we need for March Madness, Joshy.
The best part about that big guy who does the old granny style, the potty shot, is he only shoots, I believe, 32% on his free throws. So I can only imagine how bad it was prior to him adopting the potty shot. It's fun to kick it back. There's always legends that will pop up. There is always a Kevin Pittsnoggle, a Jack Golke. DJ Burns, one of those guys.
No longer on the herd, I hear from Chrissy as well. Chrissy showed up with just all sorts of fascinating information.
You guys ever play beer pong underhand?
No.
I think that's one of the ball's back rules. Right? When it bounces and it comes back across, you can either go behind the back or underhand or lefty. I think that's maybe the only time.
I was always better at it underhand, but if I ever did that at a party, everyone would be just like, what are you doing?
Jesse was that guy.
The true upset of the century is Jesse Nelson.
Stroke still here.
Get out of here, Stroke.
All right, I also, quick bone to pick. Brian D., you're the content director. How do you not have him on the stream? He's in studio, right?
He is in studio. I am the content director. I'm not the producer.
Not the video producer.
Listen, all right. Well,
I gotta dust off the VMix skill sets here.
Yeah, this version of Undercover Boss went pretty well, I would say. But we've got just a couple seconds left. So tip-off for Badgers versus Michigan State coming up wherever you can find that. At noon, they're going to win it. This has been ESPN Wisconsin's Saturday Tip-Off.
Peace.
Listen to Wilby and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin on 100.5 ESPN.
People want to fantasize about